Alright, quick YouTube disclaimer. This video is for educational, documentary and news-based purposes. This is all based off of my opinions, and everything that you see is based off of my experiences. Also, this is not legal advice or medical advice whatsoever. I hope you enjoy the rest of this video. Alright, good morning, afternoon, evening everyone. Hope you're well and good. So today we are on a bit of a journey. We haven't actually announced coming, but we're heading to Cosmic Tree in Gloucester. Yeah, it should be interesting. I've wanted to go to some of the consumption lounges for a fair amount of time, so yeah, this is going to be quite exciting. Hopefully have some time to talk to the owners, maybe some of the staff, see how it goes. If not, we're gonna do a bit more of an in-depth look at these places after Christmas. But I just thought, you know, it's not too bad of a day, so why not come in, have a little look what's going on down this sort of way. So yeah, let's see what this day goes like. Alright, so just got here on the way to the lounge. So again, unannounced, gonna see how it goes, see if I can chat to some of the staff, get some questions in. I mean, it is what it is. If not, still been a nice journey up here. Okay, just had to ask where we're going. Apparently it's still a little bit further down. Guess we'll see. Literally feeling lost right now. Right, so just reached Cosmic Tree. Had to ask where I was going because the navigation literally ended saying we were there, but we're here. Let's go and have a little look what's going on. Okay, so we've just got here and it says they'll be back in an hour, so we'll just wait and see what that entails, and yeah, it's cool. We're here. Wow. But yeah, we're gonna check it all out in a little bit and see you in a minute. So yeah, we just killed some time, walked around this really nice church that was literally behind the building. Just walked the corridors. This was really cool. This was using the coronation of the Queen. A really beautiful building. Worth checking out if you're in the area for sure and you like that sort of thing. Alright everyone, future me editing this in here. I will put all of their details for their website, contact info in the description, and also the pinned comment. There you'll find where they're based and a bit more about them. Honestly, I had a great day. The only reason why I left, ended up sitting down, having a further chat off camera, and it was just proper chill. But parking ran out. It is what it is. That's how it is. But in the new year, I will be heading back down there. So chill. It's really nice. Like, just grab a drink, go hang out, go say hello. Brilliant. Absolutely lovely people, brilliant vibe. I didn't get to meet the guy's wife, but it sounds like they're all quite close knit with everybody around, and it's brilliant. I recommend going down there, honestly, if you're in the area or just want to go somewhere for a chill vibe. They also do events. I will put up a screen, a picture I took here of a couple of events that they do and whatnot. Like, you know, it's pretty cool down there. This is the first lounge I've actually been to, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So I recommend to any patients who want to try out some different devices, if you want to just learn a bit about medical and just hang out, make some friends. I couldn't speak more highly of this place. I just want to say, if the off chance any of you down at Cosmic Tree are watching this, thank you so much for the day. It was brilliant, and I'll just see you soon.
Well, it's we started basically doing this over 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because I became a patient on Project 21.
Okay, yeah.
And I actually became a patient because I was researching into trying to help my son who has Crohn's.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, under the NHS, they nearly killed him because they took away his immune system. He ended up with sepsis. It all went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
And I then found out that I could actually qualify, but because my son was only 16 at the time, he wasn't able to.
Yeah.
So I became part of Project 21, and as soon as we did that, and we had our premises, it was a much smaller shop up the road.
Yeah.
It was, if you're a patient, you can use your medication on site. It's not an issue.
Yeah.
We started doing social nights on a Thursday, getting more and more patients in. We started telling more and more people that you could actually become legal, because most people don't know.
Yeah.
And it was August of this year, our tenancy was running out. But because our shop, we were getting more and more people coming. It was literally got into a point where it was, everyone crammed in together.
Yeah.
So we were looking for different premises.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, he was moving from here to another shop, and he said, "Why don't you come into my old shop?" So it was like, yeah, okay.
That's brilliant.
And the difference between us and most other places is we don't charge a subscription fee.
Yeah.
So all we ask is, if you want to come in and spend some time having your medication, we've got a seating area. You buy a drink.
Just grab a drink or something.
That's it.
Just a little
and drink. I mean, you can get a bottle of water for £1.
It's nothing, is it? It's just.
You could. We rent out a volcano as well. So if you could buy a bag for £7.
Yeah.
And then you can rent the volcano for an hour for like a £5, and you can sit here, chill, talk to other patients. We still do have our regular. It's now gone to Friday, every other Friday night for our socials. But we have all sorts of evening events. We've got Weed Hammer for Nerd Night.
Hey.
So yeah, that's actually getting more and more popular. My wife, she organises things like dong baths and cacao ceremonies and all that.
Okay, yeah.
And the thing is, it's not just for patients, or as in people who have prescriptions. Anyone can come in here. Anyone can. If you're legal, you can use your prescription on site.
Yeah.
If you're not legal, then no, you can't.
Yeah.
What you do outside my shop is entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Our whole idea is, if somebody comes in and says, "Oh, I can smell cannabis," that's their problem.
Yeah.
It's not the patient's problem. The patient is, the person's just using their medication.
Exactly.
And that's the whole premise. We've now linked up with Integro, Cardiff is
the
new,
clinic.
they're coming down to see us. The Plug and Big Nasty.
Oh wow, yeah.
So that's the 4 we're linked to at the moment. And we're trying to sort of. My wife's one clinic. I'm transferring from. I won't say who it was, simply because but I'm transferring over to the Plug. We recently signed somebody up, and I saw their prescription, and to be quite honest, we were blown away by the quality.
Oh wow.
Big Nasty, as you know, he's got his own range, but he also has access to all the other ranges. Cardiff, they're a newish one. They've got a new thing where you can order 3.5 at a time.
Yeah, there's a new weights that's not long just been released.
So you can sort of have more variety on what you try.
Yeah, I done a video recently talking about the new weights, and one of the biggest concerns is all the new waste of the packs. Like all the tubs, the packs are a nightmare to get rid of once you got them, and it's one of them two-way things, isn't it? It's better in case you don't like it, but it's also there's going to be more of a price tag on the different weights. So
we'll wait to see how that one pans out.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing we do is, as you know, when you have a prescription, you're meant to use a vaporizer.
Yeah.
And that can be a massive expense and a commitment.
For sure.
And the first one I ever bought was, I was torn between Did you ever hear of the Ghost MV?
No, I
Right.
haven't heard of that one.
I'm not surprised. Ghost MV came out and it was touted as being the mighty killer. Right? It got massive reviews and everything. And I was torn between the mighty and the Ghost, but I got suckered by all the shiny bits on it.
Oh yeah.
Bought one and oh my god, what a nightmare. And the company went bust shortly after. So that was a £300 plus vaporizer, which
Yeah.
is now sat in the bottom of a drawer and it has been for 3 years. So what I only stock, as in we only stock in the shop what we know to be good vaporizers, and
Yeah.
we know that because we've tried them, friends have tried them. It's not just a single person's opinion.
Yeah.
And if it's no good, it doesn't come into the shop.
Yeah.
So everything that we sell, vaporizer wise, I have one off. Okay, it's quite an expensive commitment
Yeah,
on our
no,
behalf.
it is. I completely agree.
But
Because
what-
I've got the thermal twist
Yeah.
and the volcano and
Yeah.
the mighty plus.
So what we say to the patients is, bring a prescription in, and we'll make sure all the devices are clean and ready for you to use, and try them. See which
Before you
one.
buy, yeah.
Try before you buy, and then when you find the one that works for you, we'll get it in for you.
Well, that's a huge thing, really, because as you said, a lot of us patients buy these devices blind.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
We just pick them up, and these sort of areas could really change the playing field for stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that's what's needed, because I started off with the packs.
Yeah.
Now, they're great devices, but I had the mini. So with the dose and how often I use it
Yeah.
when I'm out, it just wasn't great for filling
Yeah.
on the go. So I changed to the mighty, but
Yeah.
I went through 2 vaporizers before
Yeah.
going for that. So it is, as you said, a lot of costs that might not necessarily need to be done
Yeah.
and paid for. You know,
And it's like the PAX is the Marmite one, I call it.
Yeah.
You either love it or you hate it.
yeah,
I've got a PAX. I love it for when I'm going to places where it's going to be quite busy and crowded, and I
Yeah.
need to be more discreet
Smooth.
because it looks like a normal vape.
yeah, it does.
And we went to the Natural History Museum. We actually got a friend who had spare tickets for a sleepover.
Oh right, yeah,
And it was like okay, what am I going to take? If I take the Mighty, it's a big brick.
yeah,
I had the packs, they had a smoking area sort of thing, and I could stand down there and it just looked like I was using a normal vape.
yeah.
My wife has the Venti, she absolutely adores that. I use the Tiny Mic mainly
Flavour.
because for me it's, because I'm a smoker,
Yeah,
it's the closest thing to smoking, the way it hits.
yeah,
But you can get all sorts of glass attachments that cools it right down.
yeah.
I mean,
Pearls and
I like it because it's got interchangeable batteries.
yeah,
So I tend to sort of pre-charge like 5 when I'm on the go. My wife has one of those power packs that she can plug her Venti into when she's on the go. So everybody has a different opinion on
Yeah.
certain ones. It's like I'm obsessed with Dynavat.
okay,
A
yeah.
friend of mine, he would kill me for saying that.
I haven't ever tried one personally. I've seen a lot about them, but I've seen a lot of mixed
Yeah.
reviews. So I used to be a smoker and all that, but since going to, I had the Mighty and Volcano. It was doing
Yeah.
great for flavour.
Yeah.
But once I switched to the thermal bolus
Yeah,
injector, that was just a game changer for me.
yeah.
I found.
Because it's the Dynavat it's an amazing device.
Yeah.
It can't break down because there's no electronic parts. You don't
Yeah.
need to worry about charging it because there's no battery.
Yeah.
But it's quite obvious when you're out and about in public because you've got a torch lighter.
Yeah.
I was risk assessed in my old workplace
Yeah.
to use my medication on site, and they nicknamed it my crack pipe because I'd be sat there with torch lighter going away, and then
Yeah.
the first time I did it, they were like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then I explained what's going on. They go, "Yeah, but seriously, mate, it's like a crack pipe."
Yeah, yeah, it's a difficult one
Yeah.
for patients, like in it, Stigma, and
Yeah.
and there's still a lot that is floating around, despite all the shifts in other countries.
Yeah.
There's still so much that we're behind as a country on, so it's difficult.
We get quite a few sort of tourists stop in the shop. 'Cause, you know,
Yeah.
it's Gloucester. Gloucester's a tourist town, and we've had a few Americans and Canadians in recently, and they reckon we're about 10 to 15 years behind them. which is a horrible thought. I thought we were actually moving forwards.
Yeah.
Being legal as a medicine now, I don't know if that's worked against us.
Yeah, well, you can see that.
Because it's become, yes, you've got the ones who are working for the patients, but you've also got the corporate side, where it's, if we let this loose on the public for, grow your own, we're going to start losing money. But I don't think they would.
No, they wouldn't.
There are still people who will need prescriptions to cover their driving, cover their jobs, cover for travel, things like that.
Exactly.
So
you're not going to be able to grow the 4 or 5 different ones that you get from your clinic, for example.
No.
You're not going to be able to do that every month.
No.
You're only going to have maybe 1 or 2 at best when you're starting off, and
also
expand from there.
If you look at growing, the space you need, the time you need,
The money.
the cost you have to put into it, not everyone can do that.
No.
I mean,
sure.
if you're living in like a normal family flat and there's wife, dad, 2, 3 kids, where are you going to put your grow tent?
Yeah, you're not going to do it.
Are you going to? Yeah. It's so. I think they're being very short-sighted on actually making it just freely available to everyone.
I think there'd be less than, I want to say, 20% that would actually be able to do it multiple times after. Because some people just get fed up after their first grow. If it don't go right, they'll be like, oh well, just. But for the people who actually want to do it and put the time in, I don't see why there couldn't be a government scheme that officers know where it's happening at, so they can tell the difference between a legal and an illegal grow.
Yeah.
As a government-backed card, maybe, to
or like a license thing. You buy a license to grow so many plants a year.
Yeah.
I know me, I'd be too lazy. I would love to be able to walk into a place and go, oh, can I have a gram of that, and a gram of that sort of thing.
For sure.
Not sort of go, right, I'm going to grow this and this and this, and hopefully it'll all turn out okay.
Yeah.
When, that's the other thing, if you're growing, from the start to the finish, you don't know if it's going to go tits up at any point.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's I don't understand why these clinics don't have dispensaries that you can go into and say, can I have a bit of this, bit of that? We go to Amsterdam, like most people who like the plan.
Yeah.
My condition improves significantly when I go to Amsterdam because I have access to so many different strains.
Yes.
And I always make the same mistake, as in I take a notepad and I'm going to write down what I'm doing. By the 3rd coffee shop, I forget I'm writing down. By the 4th coffee shop, I've forgotten where I put the notepad. By the time I'm getting, to come home, I don't know where my notepad is. But having the access where I can go, this is really working for me. Or it's a combination of different strains put together will work. But when you're having to order 10 pots, 10 gram pots at a time, you can't sort of go, right, I need to mix this, and this, because suddenly it's like 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Whereas I can go into a coffee shop, spend 50 quid, and I'm set for the next several days because I literally never have had a tolerance.
Yeah.
No. I'm known as 2 puffs Paul in the shop. As in, it's literally 2 puffs and that's me done.
Oh, you know.
But for me to work for my condition, I have to get the right mix.
Yeah.
And that's what we seem to be struggling with. Is I've known people come into the shop, they're all excited because they've got their prescription through. They've finally done the process.
Yeah.
And that strain just doesn't work for them.
Yeah.
So they've spent sort of 60 plus pounds on something that is no good to them at all.
Yeah.
I got one strain. I honestly can't remember which one it was. It literally did nothing to me whatsoever.
I had a feel like that.
Nothing. It didn't help with my pain. It didn't help with all the other, because I've got quite a complex condition.
Yeah.
I didn't even get stoned.
Yeah, no, I found that as well. You're not.
It was literally nothing, and I was just like, "What the hell's going on? Is it duff?" And then I know somebody said, "Oh, I got that one. It was great."
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's so different.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like, I personally I'm not sure, as you said, if this medical market has impeded the growth of actually legalization and some sort of system there. But I find 10 and 15 for sure is too much.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, what do you think the typical Stigma news article is going to say about it? Because there was there was a lot of speak about when there was like alien dog brought to the market and stuff. There was a lot of chat in the media saying like this is getting too close to recreational. People are just paying more money to get glorified stone, basically.
Yeah.
Now, where are we going with this stigma thing? Do you think, in your opinion?
We will always have those in control who will try to keep the pressure on to make people believe it's this horrible, harmful drug.
Yeah.
Simply because they make, it's like, as you know, with British Sugar, they make massive profits, but the government also makes massive profits by keeping it illegal and having the war on drugs going, because it gives them excuses to take masses of money from the budget and put it into their own companies, which they're doing for, we're going to keep our people safe. And as long as we have that in, I grew up in the 70s where when our government was doing something wrong, the people came out and told them.
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. It's like they say that cannabis is this non-useful medication, as in it's just a drug. It's as harmful as heroin. It's highly addictive. Where's the evidence? It has no medical value whatsoever, so why are you selling it as a medicine? It ruins communities. No, it doesn't. Alcohol does that way more, but I can walk into any shop and I can fill a shopping trolley full of alcohol, and what will happen is I walk out the door, people say, have a great weekend.
Yeah.
I envy you, mate. I've got enough there to kill me 10 times over. But the stigma is, you go to the doctors because you're in pain and they give you basically pharmaceutical heroin.
Yeah.
Which is highly addictive, highly harmful. It's meant to be short term, and it never is.
No.
And you get, when you're trying to access a non-harmful, really effective medication, which is natural, you've got to jump through so many hoops. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense at all.
No.
Sure.
The stigma, if you look at, I've seen people look into it properly, is built on lies and greed.
Yep.
And we've been, I myself believed for a long time it was just a drug. Because when I was in my teens, it was like, yeah, let's all get stoned, it's going to be great. And then it's like, in the back of your mind, is be careful because you might jump out of a window and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just been ingrained into everybody.
Yeah, I grew up thinking that, you know, if weed's a gateway drug, if you start using weed, you're going to do all sorts of other stuff. But thinking about it after using it for like just under 7 years for my condition daily, I find it really works for me. I'm just like, yeah, where's the evidence? Where's the facts of this? Because I would be more likely to do something more silly if I was drunk than if I'm using my medication, which is what it is.
Well, if you go through our town centre, you can see there's a lot of homeless and there's a lot of people with addiction issues.
Yeah.
And a lot of those addictions is not just your Class A drugs, but alcohol.
Yeah.
Freely available.
Yeah.
There's pubs everywhere. There's clubs everywhere. If you go into a pub, which I don't drink.
Yeah.
Somebody will say, do you want a drink? I say no. Why? What's wrong?
Yeah, they think you're strange. Like,
what's the problem?
Yeah.
And it's like, there's no problem. I just don't drink. I used to because I work festivals.
Yeah.
But once I got my prescription and I was no longer in pain and I no longer had the stress and everything that went with it, you don't use that as a crutch. And then you start to realise how harmful that is. And it was my son, with his Crohn's, we were walking last summer towards Tesco's to do some general shopping, and suddenly his knees give way. That's the sign that he's suddenly getting a spasm and a cramp.
Yeah.
And I could see the colour just drain. And I said, look, you've got your prescription on you. Have that. We'll sit outside the front. You have your prescription, then we'll go in. And he said, I don't want the hassle. I said, what do you mean? He said, if I sit out here having my prescription, people are just going to give me he's just a druggie, he's a down and out. But as I said, you know, if you go in there, we went in and there was a group of lads who were going to Lakefest, and they had 3 shopping trolleys literally piled up of alcohol, and everyone's just, have a great time. And it's like, alcohol is the biggest gateway drug in this country.
It is. And
I can go into dozens of shops and I can buy as much of it as I want.
Yeah.
it's highly addictive. It's got no medical value, and it is a gateway drug.
Yeah.
But I can buy it in a shop.
That's what I mean.
But I can't go in and buy cannabis.
No.
Because that's horrible. That's harmful.
When you buy a natural herb like that's
Yeah.
actually grown from the ground,
Yeah.
it's just it just doesn't sit with me either.
Because if you look into the history of the plant, it's been used for. They say there's no medical evidence that it can be used as a medicine.
It's thousands of years, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you look at your average drug trial,
Yeah.
it's about 10 years. So if you've got over, say, 2,700 years of medical evidence,
You can't say anything.
you could put, what, 27 10-year drug tests, no, 270 10-year drug tests
Yeah, about that.
into that. But apparently there's not enough evidence behind it.
I mean, they got the whole world that's legalizing worldwide, like,
Yeah.
you know, like pretty much all of Europe's done it now.
But in Thailand, it was, you could get the death penalty for cannabis.
Yeah, no.
Now it's every other stall sells it.
Yeah, I saw a video that there was like a hot dog truck that would even had like cannabis on their menu, and it's like they're doing hot dogs, like, you know what I mean?
I've got friends who they've gone over to Thailand, they've booked into the hotel,
Yeah.
and when they've gone to their room, there's a tray with like 6 different strains, like a gram of each strain, and say, tell us which one you like, and we'll send them up to your room.
That is crazy.
And then in this country, you can get up to 7 years in prison. I mean, for a crime to be committed, there has to be a victim. So how can you serve 7 years for getting, for having a smoke?
Yeah.
Where's the logic in that? There's no victim, so where's the crime? And it's simply to control the money, and it's also, I'm sure you found this since you've been using your prescription as well on a regular basis, without the stress and without the fear, you become more aware of what's going on around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your mind opens up.
Yeah.
And they want to keep it. Tobacco and alcohol are suppressives.
Yep.
We can buy those anywhere. It's like we've had a really, really good reception here, as in with what we're doing.
That's what I was going to ask, if you've had any pushback from locals or
Oh
police.
yes, we have.
Yeah?
Not from the police. I will give them that, and I can't say they're not aware of us, because this morning we had it was a big police van, several police, something was going on down the road. They're all parked outside the shop, right?
Yeah.
So they're aware I'm here. We haven't hidden anything.
No.
We've even had police officers, security guards and all that come into the shop to ask about prescriptions.
Wow.
So the police haven't given us any hassle, but we have had people going, it shouldn't be allowed. It's absolutely disgusting. Now, in our other shop, our shop was tiny.
Yeah.
So to get people's initial interest, we had that in the window.
Yeah.
And somebody actually posted on, they call it Gloucester Live. It's all about what's going on in Gloucester. And somebody put a comment on about homeless people being an issue in Gloucester. Right? The issue is that people have nowhere to go. It's not the people themselves. So
trying to survive.
Somebody put up, the reason there is a problem in Gloucester is that in our window, we are the cause of the downfall of Gloucester. And as soon as I pointed out that what we would do, I said, so what you're saying is chronically ill people who are trying to use non-addictive medication, which has been proven to be the most effective medication for them, shouldn't be allowed to do it. And then I had quite a few other groups, sort of drug support agencies, getting in touch with us. This person then suddenly took all the comments that they made down about how we were just encouraging crackheads and things like that. It's just, but they reappeared a couple of weeks ago.
Oh God.
So back online, all about the evils of cannabis. And it's, as you can see in our shop window, we are a runner-up in Small Business of the Year. And when we went for the award ceremony, we are a CBD hippie shop, which helps people get legal prescriptions, and we are a medical cannabis consumption space.
Nothing wrong there.
None of that was in the write-up. What it actually said was, our customers are happy with our holistic help, and we have pretty shop windows. None of what we actually do was on there. And surprisingly, we didn't win.
What?
We didn't win.
That's
Even
yeah,
though
right.
we had people all over the world voting for us, because we made links everywhere.
Yeah.
And we then found out, because they advertise it as you win on votes. We then found out on the night you don't actually win on votes. There's always an input from the organisers. So we lost to a care home.
That's mad.
Yeah. But they didn't mention once what we actually do here.
See, this is where it's wrong. Like, at least just don't put you in the running. Then if you're not going to respect what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just wrong.
Because we were hoping it's as if we know we weren't going to win. Because if we won, they would have to promote what we do. And if they promote what we do, it then gets out to the public. So they don't want that.
Alright, all future me. We are still on the same discussions, just one phone died, so that's changed my girlfriend's phone. Do apologise, but hope you can continue on picking up where we left off. If somebody was, for example, as you said, making paraphernalia and trying to show it, it's a different story. But these are actual medical professionals
Yep.
that are allowed to prescribe and dispense
Yep.
a controlled substance. So therefore, in the hands of somebody else, it's not controlled.
Yeah.
But if it's in the hands of the patient,
Yeah.
then there shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
And you know, if somebody's coming in here with a prescription, nobody out there should say anything, really, should they? That's the thing. It's not.
It was like, bless his heart, our landlord he was a bit dubious about what we were doing. As soon as he saw what we were doing, the people we were helping, and the effect it was having, he completely changed his attitude.
Yeah.
100%. He fully backed us all the way. But before, he was like, not sure about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's the amount of people you get coming in who are completely unaware. It's been, what, 2018?
Yeah.
It's been around for that long and hardly anyone knows. It's if you look on the NHS website, everyone who's receiving chemotherapy is meant to be offered it to help with the side effects of chemotherapy. The amount of cancer patients we have coming in, we're signing up because they haven't been told that they should have access to cannabis prescriptions, and then when they find out they've been denied access to cannabis prescriptions.
It's a nice protocol, though, isn't it? It's such a grey area with the NHS. They don't know who to prescribe to. I mean, they're trying epilepsy tests now. As a week ago, I saw an article, but really, how long is that going to take to actually get enough people to start? You know, like we've already been, as you said, like 6 years in.
Mm-hmm.
So why didn't those tests start?
If I'm correct, and I may be massively wrong, it's been available on the NHS for quite a lot longer, since 2018.
Oh wow.
But they're just not. They're not letting people know about it, and those that do know about it, they're just not letting have it. Because my sister, she passed away from throat cancer. She was never offered a medical prescription, and she was going through chemo and radiotherapy. She was losing weight because she couldn't keep any food down. It's meant to help with nausea.
Yeah, it helps with nausea, appetite loss. You know, helps.
Did she get a
regain
prescription? No.
stimulation.
They knew full well what her condition was because she's regularly back and forth to the hospital, and they never once even offered it to her. And when she did mention it, they said, "Oh no, we don't really do that." It's like, yes, you do.
So,
it's on your website.
yeah.
It says it there in black and white.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you got it on your website, you should at least look at it as if you're not wanting to prescribe it, at least give it a test for a little bit, see what the quality of life for the patient is. Because I know that a few clinics, not going to name any, but there's a few clinics that are now turning around saying we've got new legislation, you're only allowed 2 or 3 strains per month, or there's some other ones that, despite your age, they'll cap your percentage, and a lot of patients are leaving them because this medication, whether experts like it or not, is patient to patient. It's not a medication you can go, here you go away with that one single one and you're done, like, for the month.
Well, the problem is, I worked in the health sector for over 20 years, Now, we are actually meant to work in a person-centered healthcare service, which means we treat every single person as an individual.
Yeah.
So, if I'm the doctor, I could meet you and I could say, right, because of your condition, that's you.
Yeah.
That's it. So, somebody else comes in,
Yeah.
same condition, that's you. That might not work for them.
Yeah.
That might have a complete opposite effect.
Exactly.
You might need 5 or 6 different types that you've got to mix together to get what you need.
For sure.
But they're not treating everyone as an individual. You're just a tick box on the health sector. That's all you are. It's like, I've got a condition, every patient calls it the fuck knows diagnosis. This is called FND, which means they don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Right? They call it function neurological disorder. Right? I present all the symptoms at times of a stroke victim, somebody with Parkinson's, somebody with dementia. I fall over a lot. I've got dysphagia, so I can't eat properly. I forget words. I'm actually having a good day today. Yesterday was a nightmare. I look like somebody with Parkinson's sat on a washing machine on spin. I can be walking down the road and suddenly I'm walking around in a circle and I can't break out of it.
Yeah.
I've got Raynaud's, so I get incredibly cold. I should be on about 8 or 9 different tablets. I'm on one plan.
That's what I mean.
And it covers everything. When the Raynaud's first started kicking in bad, I went and saw my GP, and he said, "We're going to give you vasodilators." Now I'm in my 50s. The main side effect of vasodilators is heart attack, right? So I'm a Caucasian male in his 50s. I'm already primed for a heart attack according to statistics. So they're going to give me a medication that's going to stop me being cold that will potentially kill me. Or I'll be really cold.
It's not a trade-off. It's not.
Cannabis is an actual vasodilator. So after a 2-minute talk with my doctor, I said, "Should I just have more weed?" And he went, and this is my GP, not my cannabis clinic GP. This is my. He just went, "Yeah, you got a point there." So I started a bit more on my medication, and I started upping a bit more CBD into my daily intake. And it sorted it.
Well.
Now, if I'd have taken the vasodilators, I'd have to be constantly checked for blood pressure and things like that, because of potential heart attack. And if I then started having issues with that, then they start giving you all sort of blood pressure medications. And then if you're on blood pressure medications, then you need something to counteract the side effects of that. And then before you know it, you're on a dozen more tablets.
And this is what I mean. Like, this is where healthcare's kind of disjointed from itself, because all of the stuff that the NHS will offer you, as you said, you need something else with it, because it's all made in a lab.
Yeah.
Cannabis, it might be tested in a lab, but it's grown from the ground.
Yeah.
So it's like, they could save so much more money, in my opinion, like obviously my humble opinion, by giving out more cannabis on the NHS than having to pay other companies to bring in these opioids and these other like medications that just...
Now, one of the things they keep quiet when they do this to you is opioids are meant to be short term. Right? Most opioids you shouldn't be using for more than 2 weeks. Okay? Because after that period they're addictive, you've now got a problem.
Yeah.
I know this for a fact because they did it to me. Okay? They started me off, I was in a serious motorcycle crash, they started giving me opiate-based medication. I was on it for years. I shouldn't have been on it for years. It's meant to be short-term medication. But now what I've got is a repeat customer.
Yeah.
Because you're going to keep coming back. Not only are you coming back to control your pain, you're now an addict.
Yeah.
So you're going to keep coming back because you need my medication.
Glorified NHS addicts.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you are.
Most of the people you find in the elderly sector within the healthcare are addicts. They're functioning addicts because what they've been given is opiate-based medication from the NHS that they've become addicted to. They should have been taken off years out. This is not working for you anymore.
Yeah.
It's if you look at cannabis as a pain relief, you go for a while, your tolerance starts going up.
Yeah.
Take a short tolerance break, it goes back down, and you can start again. Opiate-based medication keeps going up and up and up and up. If I give you any more, you will die. But if I take you off it now because you're up here and you've been on for so long, you will die.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep giving you this stuff and you're going to still be in pain. It's not going to have any effect on you. I'm making bank off of you.
Yeah.
That's why they don't want you having that. Why didn't our government, instead of giving was it Victoria Atkins, our drugs minister, who got the contract for British Sugar?
Oh, I couldn't be too sure about that.
Sure, that's her name. Why didn't our government give that contract to the NHS? Why didn't our government give the cannabis medication licenses to the NHS so they could grow it, they could sell it? The NHS would be having quite a lot of money, as in, I think it's £27 million profit British Sugar mate. NHS, £27 million profit a year that they could put back into the NHS to pay for their doctors, pay for their nurses, pay for their equipment.
Yeah.
No, they take it and they put it private. They price it. You can buy a share in their company. Last time I checked, it was £10,000 a share. So they priced us out. They priced everyone else out because they're the ones making money.
Yeah.
And they're making money out of chronically ill people. So they're basically exploiting your illness.
Yeah.
But if you try and say anything about it, you just
Not
get
even
shut
heard
down.
or nothing like
No.
nowadays. That's the thing.
You'll just get shut down because they don't want the general public knowing that a lot of our medications is based on that plant.
Yeah.
A lot of the other medications is based on plants that grow. The con they used was, if we make an artificial version of this, I know the exact dose I'm giving you.
Yeah.
When you take the natural version, your body takes what it needs and it expels the rest. So that's what they pulled this massive con that doesn't work, but this little tablet does.
Yeah.
All that does, it's bad people who take that. It's just for wasters and losers. When, at the moment, my wife is down working at a market. I'm here in the shop. When we go home, we've got the house to sort out.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you lazy.
No.
It makes you able to do stuff.
Exactly.
And this is where it's all gone wrong. They've lied to us for so long, people believe it. As I say, if you tell a lie for long enough, it becomes the truth.
I mean, for me, I struggle getting started with my day if I haven't had a dose of my medication.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's different, but I'm sure that there's loads of people who are in that boat as well.
Yeah.
And it, you know, when people are like, you know, if you're waking and baking, let's say, you're just a lazy stoner and all that, but how can you say that when people are literally having a better version of their life from using this product? And this is what the big argument is. Like, it would be nice if we could actually sit down with these people and actually tell our side of it, really, instead of just being spoke down to about it.
Because you're cutting into their profits. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like I said, I should be on a dozen or so tablets. I'm on one plant. They're not making money out of me. So I'm a lost customer now.
Yeah.
So if you get more and more lost, it's like, I don't think my uncles would have had the problems they had if cannabis had been available.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to escape certain parts of their lives through alcohol, which a lot of people with drink problems do. They're trying to block something out.
Yeah.
And because it's highly addictive, before you know it, you're hooked. With a plant, it starts to open your mind, starts to make you realise you don't. If it's as bad as it is, why isn't Amsterdam on the news every night? The last time I went for a week. It was a friend of ours. She'd never been abroad on holiday. She'd never been to Amsterdam, and we went, "We're going. We'll take her."
Yeah.
So we were there for a whole week. I heard one police siren once, and that was it. And then I found out it wasn't a police siren; it was actually a fire engine.
You don't have any issues. Nobody bothers anyone. Everyone's polite.
Yeah.
Everyone just wants to get about their business and their day, but while having a smile on their face. Like the majority of people you see over there with a smile on their face.
Yeah.
It's like you don't really see that like walking down the street here. It's all grey, dark, bland. But over there they've got the colour. They've got like I wouldn't say lax, but they've got better policing, I feel, to the sense of they've got more of a humanitarian approach to it. If you're being vulgar or genuinely doing something out of touch, you've had it.
Yeah.
But if you walk past them smoking up or just they smell it, there's no issues. Just want people to get on about their day.
Where our old shop was, we were about 4 doors away from a pub.
Yeah.
Now we used to have Thursday night socials, and I'd have to lock the door because a lot of the people who came suffered with mental health and anxiety issues.
Yeah.
And you would see proper full-on stamping on people's heads fights every time coming out of the pub. But the pub's allowed to keep going and selling the alcohol. You go to a coffee shop in Amsterdam, I don't think I even heard anyone raise their voice.
Yeah. I don't either.
I went last year and there was two blokes watching football on the TV, and one leant over and he went, "Your team's shit," and the other bloke went, "Yeah, they are at the moment, aren't they?"
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah, like just.
And they just carried on having a smoke, watching the game. When the game finished, of course one team won, the other one lost. There was no, right, that's it, tables fly up, let's have a fight. But you get that all the time here.
Yeah.
I mean, in Germany, when they had the World Cup, the German police said, "Don't drink, smoke.
Yeah.
Make it. Let's have a nice time." So if it's such a bad drug, why are the German police encouraging people? Because we want a non-violent, nice social time to use cannabis.
Exactly.
So we're.
And then I don't know if you saw, but in Germany, all the drunk people were actually Brits who were vandalising stuff and that. It was all over the news, and they were all drunk.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're in another person's country, another person's home, and you're disrespecting it. And I feel alcohol, doesn't matter where you are, it can always turn a person to the other side of the coin.
My wife and I, we worked festivals for years.
Yeah.
Now, you'd always have this about 7, 8 o'clock at night. Security would start edging their way towards where all the events, where all the bars were.
Yeah.
And then before you knew it, you'd see police running across the field with them. They go past all the people having a smoke, because they're just sat there waiting for the stars to come out. They're having a great time. The police couldn't care less because they know they're no problem, they're no trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck it, you carry on.
Yeah.
And they'd be straight in because alcohol's involved. Somebody's had one pint too many, they suddenly think they're bloody Rambo and they're going to fight everyone.
Alright everyone, thank you so much for your time. I know this video's been like 40 minutes long, but for real, head on down to Cosmic Tree. I had a cup of tea, CBD infused, it was lovely, really nice, mellow time. Also, I got a really cool keychain from there, like, they do like really cool little gift bits and whatnot. They gave me this one for free, so thank you as well for that. It's really cool. Sit on my keys. Just go and check them out. Brilliant. I feel like it was a great chat, brilliant day, and I look forward to going to more of these sort of places and events next year. So thank you for coming on this journey, everyone. Stay well, stay safe, and stay medicated. See you later, everyone.